their own election. I mean, Ekiti had their own election in just recently in June, and Osun will be having their own on the 16th of July, 16th and 17th. In Ekiti State, APC won. Those big figures are right there on the screen. But let's focus on the general elections and, of course, Osun State election. Lots of candidates have been coming out. In fact, there's been a term of a placeholder that has been also part of it. Some political parties, like my intro, Alhaji Rabiu Kwankwaso, has said categorically that he will definitely not be advised to probably the ticket of Peter Obi at this moment. And we have the likes of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar with his own vice president choice too. He has chosen Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State. We also have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu still searching and trying to, with his term, consult to see how to get the best. But he has also picked somebody as also a placeholder. All this drama, if you pick them one after the other, what are your expectations for the 2023 elections?
The expectations are quite high, because if you look at it from all angles, all indications, the Osun is over, you know, a lot of vote buying.
Ekiti,
there is so much vote buying, you know, and quite unfortunately, the APC national chairman came out to give the confidence to commit crime to the APC in Osun, as far as I'm concerned, because that's what he gave to them. If you look at that last statement he made, he told them that do everything possible to win that election, let any other political party, let them go to court. So what he's trying to say is this, that we are in power. We will use the instrument of government to retain power. So when you begin to tell this to your electorate, what are you telling them? You are encouraging electoral violence.
But that has been happening in Osun State, even in the time of Oyinlola and Aregbesola.
Aside that, okay, the last election that they brought in this present governor in Osun State, look at what
Governor Oyetola.
Oyetola, the by-election that was conducted in that the few words, look at what APC did. They tied a white handkerchief in their hands. That's what they did. I've traveled around the whole 36 states to monitor election, and we see things that you will be opening mouth and be wondering that, are we living in a country, or we are actually living in an unideal society? Because things that are not normal, things that are normal in another society is abnormal here, and things that are normal here, people look at us like, are these guys normal in Nigeria? How do you tie handkerchief as a sign of identity to know who you are going to vote for, to know your members? And the police, security personnel are protecting people. The Ekiti election we went to monitor, same thing happened in Ekiti. You see somebody cutting away ballot boxes, and it's being protected by security personnel because they are the government in power.
But this last election was free and fair, according to some.
It was free and fair, but whether you like it, there was still so many manipulations. You saw the law of financial inducement. People cutted away ballot boxes, the law of financial inducement, and people that felt their government are the one in power. They do everything possible to disrupt the election because they know that they will be protected. And if we continue as a nation, any other government that comes to power will do worse. That's what they're doing. What the PC is doing, and they're leaving a legacy that whatever you come to power, do your own too. And we continue to do that. They continue to reiterate, disintegrate. They continue to go backwards.
Well, even you recall that even during the People's Democratic Party, there was rigging, there was violence during elections.
But one thing you can't take away from People's Democratic Party is the strengthening of institutions, the value of constitution. The institution during the PDP era was strengthened.
Under President Muhammadu Buhari, he signed Electoral Act.
No, it's not the Electoral Act. The Jonathan administration did everything possible to ensure that our institutions are strengthened. As we talk right now, our institutions are being weakened. They don't have value for the various arms of government. That is what is happening right now under Muhammadu Buhari. Because as far as I'm concerned, the National Assembly, they are like rubber stamp. They don't even have a voice on their own because they were practically handpicked to manage the National Assembly. So how do you expect them to tackle the executive? That is the problem.
Well, many people will disagree with you. Many people will disagree with you on that.
No, they will agree with me because the majority of the Nigerians, they are not happy because people that are expected to represent the National Assembly, they are not representing the people. They are representing their interests and the interests of the few elites. Where they were elected to represent the masses. That is where the problem is. That's why you see having a lot of electoral violence, a lot of election malpractices.
So as we wind down, general elections in our country, Nigeria, 2023, we have big names coming out, and of course, different political drama. Some people call it family issues, and they will definitely resolve it. Some persons have also said that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and other PDP members should visit Wiki. We see it in APC too. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also trying to see a lot of it. So what do you expect as well?
Actually, quick one on the PDP angle. I know, you know, one thing about PDP, they have very strong internal mechanism. That is fact, irrespective of political affiliation. PDP have a strong internal mechanism in resolving conflict resolutions. I don't know how they got it. I don't know the magic they use. But there's one thing you can't take away from PDP. Whenever they have crisis, they have a way of manipulating themselves out of that crisis. Look at the Sheriff McAfee crisis. People thought that was the end of PDP. Unfortunately, they came out stronger. It has occurred over and over again. Look at Secondus crisis. They came out stronger. This again, although it's not really crisis, no one thing, but one thing I advise them to do, they should do everything within their reach to ensure that there is a strong resolution, which I believe this president NWC they are doing and putting in place people to reconcile these various factions. So now, on the other hand, for APC, I don't see any reason why you want to come into governance and you're not prepared. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you are prepared, you will know your vice president. So it shows that if we allow APC to continue again in the next 4 years, we are going to suffer as a people. Because right now, to pick a vice president, you're not prepared to pick it. You are not prepared for it. So how do you, are you at what point are you going to prove to us that you're prepared to govern us as a nation?
Well, Prime still consulting. What about Kwankwaso and Peter Obi?
Yeah, for Kwankwaso and Peter Obi on his own. Peter Obi is not yet right for president. Peter Obi still needs to come into the big wings like the PDP. He needs more mentoring. He needs more tutor.
But he came out of PDP anyway.
And Peter Obi seems to be groomed to become the president. For Kwankwaso on his own, he's just having this influence, particularly say in Kano. Kwankwaso cannot win Nigeria president because he doesn't have that spread as it is.
Well,
unfortunately, so for all the big wings are big boys, but I think to unseat APC, they need to come under the umbrella of PDP, which is the major opposition party, to join forces with them and unseat the APC so that we can all enjoy this country together. Because if anything goes wrong, we are going to suffer it together. But one thing I want Nigerians youth to do now is no big match out of this country again. Let all of us stay in this country together and collapse together if the country wants to collapse. And if you want to work, let it work together.
All right, thank you so much, Andrew Nothame. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation. So, political analyst. Well, on that note, we'll also say thank you for being part of the production of the program today. I like what we tell you, when you play your part, we'll play our part. We'll have a better place called the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On behalf of everyone that's been part of the production, we say thank you. My name is Ayobami Ademo. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It will never collapse. Goodbye.